and welcome to the Jank Tank. I am Tap for Brew Tap Cast for another episode of Jank Tank. On this episode, we will talk about Orzhov Rejankimator, a very goofy deck that is based around Corpse Knight and Gruul Celebrant. Your aim is to trigger those with ETB effects on Corpse Knight, and then exiting the battlefield triggers for Gruul Celebrant. So you can ping your opponent, you can also drain your opponent with a Gruul Celebrant. So that's the basics of the deck. To fulfill that role, we do have Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven. That's a combo in its own right that can help win the game outright. But it's also a way to soak up damage for issues, blocking, those sorts of things. When people start attacking you, you have a little sort of a redoable defense there. But more importantly, the triggers that we were looking for are actually free triggers, in a sense of Chamber Sentry, Stonecoil Serpent, and Ugin's Conjurant are all X casting cost creatures that you can cast for 0. They hit the battlefield, and then state-based actions say that they die. But that does actually have a moment where they do hit the battlefield. So you do have Corpse Knight trigger when it hits the battlefield, and you do have Gruul Celebrant trigger when they leave the battlefield. You also have Midnight Reaper as a backup, or not as a backup, as a card advantage, so you will be able to sort of like cycle a card. It's discard a card, draw a card, and then depending on the number of Corpse Knights, Gruul Celebrants, it's some sort of amount of pinging and life draining. That said, you may be casting Stonecoil Serpent for some amount of mana at some point in the game. It's good to block multicolor creatures. It's protection against flyers. The other two are not necessarily really what we want to be doing as far as actually getting a creature onto the battlefield. But yes, that's the basics of the deck. We may run out of targets to actually be playing with Gruul Celebrant Corpse Knight, but that's why we have 4 copies of Forever Young in here as well, so that we can buy back those creatures and then just be drawing cards that we know are going to be triggers for our creatures. And then there's some flex slots that I would not say are perfectly aimed towards anything in particular. I here have 2 Murderous Riders and 2 Mortifies to help deal with maybe some sticky Planeswalkers or enchantments, fire, something like that, or anything else that really gets in our way that we can't necessarily deal with or block or something like that. Outside of that, land package is mostly leaning towards black. Don't worry too much about the land package. It's not really tweaked. It's more of a, hey, I had these rares and couldn't really craft the other ones necessarily. So, but I will say one copy of Castle Ardenvale is pretty good. If you are out of cards and you have some Corpse Knights on the board, you can always cast, or for a Witch's Oven and no Cauldron Familiars, you can pay 4 mana to get a 1/1, which you can either sack to Witch's Oven or just trigger Corpse Knight. So that's a nice little way to get some token usage on there. But so that is the deck for today's Jank Tank, Orzhov Rejankimator. So that's the deck, and let's get into some games. All right, our opponent is Mooger. Mooger is our opponent. So we are on the play. We have a 1-drop. We have a Scryland. I think we'll keep this, and we'll probably just play the Scryland. Maybe look for a Cauldron Familiar. Those are actually pretty nice to start off with. We don't necessarily need the mana right now, so we'll Scry at the bottom. And we will pass along. So yeah, the Ugin Conjurants you can cast for 0. All right, so Temple of Mystery, so we may be playing Simic Flash, Simic Food. Hopefully it's well, I mean, I guess it could be good that it's Simic Food because they did just not play anything. I think we'll go ahead and throw this guy out. Don't necessarily want to throw these things out just yet. I'd like to get maybe the possibility of drawing a Corpse Knight next turn. Cauldron Familiar, we could get online with our Witch's Oven. We are going to need to worry about counter spells. We're not really sure what our opponent's playing. Looks like it might be Simic Flash. Let's go ahead and shoot to get the Oven out. So this is a interesting matchup. They didn't do anything, so I guess we can also just try to... I don't think we necessarily need to spit out damage just yet. I guess getting a Corpse Knight down is a little bit better. So yeah, it looks like we're on Simic Flash as our opponent, which isn't terrible. It does shut down a lot of our strategy, but the same thing is part of the issue with this sort of matchup for them is that we don't really care how much we're casting these X spells for. we can be casting them for free. And they can't counter them all. They just can't. So I think maybe what we do is we try to land a Stone Coil Serpent, because we do care about that. So let's just pay 0 for this and see what they do. So they see the X0, so they're probably not going to counter it. So they're probably thinking, oops, did they misplay? Something like that, because it's a little bit weird that he cast it for 0. Or I'm just trying to bait out a counterspell. I have no idea what they're thinking right now, but it's definitely a different sort of thing. So, get a trigger. Now they're starting to maybe understand what's going on here. Maybe we throw the other one out. And they're understanding what we're doing here. We'll also just try to cast a Stone Coil Serpent for 1 here as well. Just to see what happens. Or actually, maybe we'll do this guy for 1. Because we do actually want... it would be nice to be able to ping. We can ping something. I could have actually spent 2 black-white, but I actually don't really care too much about what this is. It's funny, because they are very confused here. I think the amounts of spells that we can cast is probably throwing them off. And they don't really know what to do about it. I don't know. They're probably just confused. It's a very janky deck, so I'm not surprised. So if they don't counter this, I think we just... Do we just pass? I think we pass, because next turn I'd prefer to try to land a Stone Coil Serpent. 1 or not. We'll see what they do here. Alright, so they didn't cast anything, which is a little bit odd. I'm surprised they didn't. Maybe they're thinking we have instants, but I don't know what kind of 1 mana instant is actually worth playing right now. They're going to go grab probably an island. Yep, got their island. So now they have Frilled Mystic online. They're going to pass the turn, okay? So Midnight Reaper, not really what we want. So let's go ahead and try for a Stone Coil of 1. We'll see what happens. They're probably going to want to counter this. They do have a lot of multicolored spells. Well, actually, maybe they don't. Unless they're multicolored creatures. The spells don't matter. They may have probably just Frilled Mystic as their counter spells. Or their multicolored ones. Alright, so I think that's all we'll do for this turn. We will pass. Would have liked to have drawn a land to attempt to get the Reaper, but that's okay. So this is our only problem. We don't have our Cauldron Familiar. So they're going to start going off with that, and that's a little bit of a problem. We can get around a little bit of that damage by blocking and sacking, but I think for right now we just go... So they didn't even attack. Wow, okay, so they're scared. Maybe they won't sink their mana into this, I doubt. Maybe they'll sink 1 in, hold up their blue X, or blue 1 for Sinister Sabotage, something like that. Yeah, so this is where we would like to draw... I mean, obviously we need some more mana, but we could draw cards to kill creatures, so they're holding up maybe a Quench here, which makes sense. We cannot play anything. Okay, so this card we actually do want to land. So I think we'll try for X of 1 here. I'd love to see a Quench here. They didn't quench it, so I don't really want to run the Cauldron Familiar. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter, because we can sack something to go get it back, and they can't really interact with that. So they will probably just counter this with a Quench, is my guess. Alright, well that's fine. I'm not really that upset by that. They'll counter it on the way back down, I guess. But at least we get our Cauldron Familiar in play. I guess we should have sacked a Stone Coil to that. Although the creatures on their side don't actually have trample. So that isn't necessarily an issue. We just take it here. Right now, I'm not super worried about the damage coming out. I guess we could have blocked and then pinged them for 1, although I'd rather them have something that we can actually ping as far as a target goes. So I'm not happy that they will probably just counter... Yeah, so they're holding up a Frilled Mystic now. So we get a Cruel Celebrant, which I'd really like to be able to play the Oven and get the Oven out, because then you can just sort of start looping, and that's a lot better for us. But we will try to drop another Cruel Celebrant. If we had 1 more mana, this would have been a better interaction, because we could drop that, drop the land, drop the Witch's Oven if they try to Frilled Mystic this. Or they could be... Yeah, so that's really unfortunate. We did miss our timing of land drops. So they are going to counter the other Cruel Celebrant. That's fine. We can't pay anything for that, so I think we go ahead and skip. So they're going to pass. They're probably going to attack him with the 2 wolves. And the Mystic. Okay, so... We'll pass to blockers. We will block here, and take 6. But before damage, we will ping this. I can't pay 1. Oh, I forgot this actually costs mana. Oh well, that's all right. I guess we should have double blocked. That was silly. Oops. That was just... There were so many suboptimal things about that turn. I really apologize. This is a very janky deck that I should be paying more attention to. I apologize. Alright, so we are getting overwhelmed by the power from this Nightpack Ambusher. So we're kind of stuck on mana right now. That's not really what we wanted to see, but we're going to try to get this out to try to get our loop going. I'm not expecting this to land, but we kind of have to push on that front. Yeah, so we are getting wiped down a little bit that way. Rather unfortunate. Get down our Scryland. If we keep this, we just try to drop the Reaper. It doesn't really help us all that much. If we draw something better to drop, so I think we just scry that to the bottom. This doesn't look like a good matchup for us in regards to permission. We're supposed to be the deck that's a little bit more hurty. Alright, so I think we just block here, block here. We're going to have to start doing things like this. Otherwise, we're going to take 9. I think we just keep it like this. I don't see they don't have any pump or anything like that. So we'll block like that. So they're probably just going to pass. And I think if we don't draw something that's actually going to affect the board in a meaningful way, we're just done here. I don't think we will. So I think we're just kind of out of luck here. But that's okay. See, I don't know. Does it matter? No. So they're holding up 4 and 1. So we still got to land. Doesn't really matter what we have there. Yeah, I think we're just toasted here. So we can attempt to Forever Young. I mean, we'd love to have a Witch's Oven, but I don't think that's actually going to do it. So... yeah, so that's what I figured was going to happen. And that's going to be game. So we will just go ahead and concede. All right, a rather poor matchup for us, but then again, don't really know what a good matchup is for us. This is definitely not a deck that is commonly played. All right, here we are for our game against I Am Salmon. It's a pretty It's not the best hand that we can have. We are in the draw, so hopefully we can get something better. I mean, we don't have our combo pieces, and that's kind of a problem. But we also have mana enough for probably the entire game and a little bit of removal, so I think we're actually going to keep this. I think our opponent mulligan once. Well, at least once. We shall see what happens. Yeah, so they're at 6 cards. They play a swamp. Alright, so maybe some sort of vampire thing. Let's just lead with a plains. Maybe just cast him for 1. And then pass. So we drew another land, so we're essentially pretty happy on lands for the rest of the game here. I mean, we generally don't need a lot of mana, we just need our pieces. And I'm more than happy to sacrifice the same... Alright, so they didn't, and they missed their land drop, which is a little bit surprising. So I think we just go ahead and attack for 1. We don't take it. We will go ahead and play out our kitty. And I think we maybe just play him out for 1 as well. Although, it looks like we may actually want to keep that around to be able to machine gun down some of their creatures. So we can get 2. We can get 2 counters on it. Move 1 to snipe something. Alright, so this looks like it might be kind of a janky deck too. Alright, so... Wish we drew an oven, or a cruel celebrant, or whatchamacallit. So let's just go ahead and play out this guy for 2. And we have 1 mana up to remove a counter off the Chamber Sentry if we feel as though we need to. So maybe this is that Orzhov life gain deck that's got all the silliness that is in that deck. So they're mana screwed, and we are flooding. So interesting. We can attack in with the Chamber. I think we just play out Midnight Reaper and then hope to get something that we can start turning our ETB triggers into pinging or draining triggers. All right, they're really getting hosed on lands. All right, so they're going in for the attack. They're not attacking. Okay, so they are just mana screwed, and we are annoyingly flooded to the point of we can't actually activate Castle Ardenvale right now either, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think we should start swinging. Maybe we just go ahead and throw in one of the sentries. No blocks. Pass the turn. We're winning! Alright. Passing through our turn. Do we just throw the Mortify out to kill the Orator and start bashing in? I don't think we do that. There's a piece of the pie that we want. We'll get a Cruel Celebrant. And we will attack for 1. They don't really have a reason to block if they didn't block last turn. Alright, we'd like to see a Witch's Oven. Off the top here, I'd like to see a Witch's Oven. We have Mortify up if they cast something that we don't like. So now they're on the 4 mana, so they're probably going to start doing things here. So they got Fire, or Bloodthirsty Aerialists. So do we just kill the Impassioned Orator? I think we do. That is a sort of a little bit of a crux of their deck. Is the life gain from that. So I think we shoot the Dire Moon. So they don't have any life gain abilities. Fabled Passage is really not what we want, but it will go fetch up a land that we do want for the Ardenvale trigger. So we'll get one of their planes out of the deck, and then I think we just go to combat with the Reaper. I would be surprised if they block here. Okay. So we could draw a card with the ping, but it looks like we may actually want to save those. So I think we'll just let that happen. We'll draw a card anyways. It's a Temple of Silence. Temple of Silence! Alright, so we'll set a stop on their end of the turn because we do want to make a token. And then we'll move on from there. That's a spicy card. Interesting, interesting, and it is not flying at least, but it does. They're just gonna get a whole bunch of bad boys. All right, so there's the oven, so that's good. We'll see what we're getting next. We're getting another oven, which we'll keep on top. We will cast the oven. So now we can at least be blocking and getting our oven going with Oketra. So we'd like to see maybe another Cauldron Familiar soon after the other oven, just so we can have better blocks. So that's fine. You can get that. You can get a Zombie. Interesting, you have that. We also have that. So if they attack here, we're going to block with Cauldron Familiar and do the loop. So yeah, they see that it's not really worth it. They do have mana for some sort of destruction here, but we will just go ahead and do this right now. We'll also go ahead and make sure we do this. And then we will go ahead and get this guy back with our food sack. So Corpse Knight would be good too. A second oven, not too bad. We can do it a couple times. We will go ahead and maybe kill the Cruel Celebrant, although I don't see that being a problem for us right now. We're not really going to be killing a lot of their creatures. So I guess what we could do is we could Forever Young back some Chamber Sentries. So we could shoot down the Cruel Celebrant. We'll get a couple triggers. I'm not really worried about that too much. So we're going to remove one. Target that. Let's play a black. Pay one. Target that. Pay a black. Alright, so this way if they have any sort of goofy things, we can not worry about that. So we could Forever Young here. Yep, that's fine. If we Forever Young, we drop down to not be able to make enough of the tokens mana. But then we can also just get back some creatures. So I think we'll wait on that because we don't necessarily need to really worry too much about that. I didn't know if they have some sort of sacrifice outlet, so getting the Cool Celebrant off is not that big of a deal. It is a vampire, so if they're playing Sauron, they can easily get it back. So in that regard, it was sort of like a 2-for-1, but I'm not really that upset by that. Right now, we're in a pretty good lead right now with the Double Oven Cauldron Familiar out. And now I'm glad I got rid of that because they do have... That would be a good card to play in here. It's just a little bit faster, so we don't necessarily want to do that. Vigilance and Lifelink. So that's a little bit of the problem. So now the Lifelink, so now is when we want a second Cauldron Familiar. So we can stop the Lifelink because before damage we can sack. So they're not getting the Lifelink. Alright, so we're ready to go ahead and let's make ourselves another token. Get back our Cauldron Familiar. Sack our Cauldron Familiar. Get back our Cauldron Familiar. And then bring it to our turn. Alright, so there's the Corpse Knight. That's the other piece of the pie that we wanted. So now is when we can do a little bit more shenanigans with Forever Young. So let's go ahead and Forever Young. We'll get back all three of these. What do I want first? Entering your library. The card in order... So the first card in the order will come. So yeah, we'd like to keep it... Well, I guess actually these draws do let us just ping. I think that's probably better. But then again, this also lets us ping when something dies, which we can get that. So I think we will go ahead and put that guy in the top, draw a card, play him because we don't really care about making a token. And now we theoretically could win now almost, but I think we're going to wait until next turn because we're a little bit worried about their lifelinking. This is also lifelink? No. Creature tokens you control have lifelink and vigilance. So right now we have... I think we can actually... We're going to try it. We're going to go ahead and go for gold. We'll submit. We will bring back. We will kill. We will bring back. Play this guy for 0. And that's game. All right, so that's the kind of idea that we're going for. So that worked out really well. Very good. That was fun. Moving on to the next one. All right, our opponent is Fenrix Wolf with Aurelia as their thing. Oh, what a gross hand. All right, well, I guess we can go Fabled Passage to get a Plains and then maybe draw into some more. So I guess we'll keep this. It's a little bit slow, but I think this deck can kind of work all right with that if we are not up against something pretty fast, which... Oh, maybe... Okay, they're looking for... Okay. Alrighty. Then there's a... So, I think because we don't want to cast anything now, we'll go get a... We don't need a second swamp right now. But I think we'll go get one. We can always get another Plains, so... Pass. So next turn we play the Plains, play Gruul Celebrant, and then our pinging life drain ability is online. Overgrown Tomb, Love Struck Beast getting a 1/1. Okay. So that's more of a reason to get our 1/2 down here. And now we do have it online to the point of we can just cast Fable or play Fabled Passage as a untapped land to get the second Plains we will need for Castle Ardenvale. If we drop. Which is unlikely. That's okay. Alright, cast a Lock Plain for our opponent. Probably going to cast a big 5/5 boy, which means they're going to Legions and Our Lady. That's not very nice. That's, I guess... Well, that's just a whole lot of rude right there. Well, we got something we can kill. Play this, play that. Stone Coil, or Mortify up for the next turn. We'll go ahead and pass. We can Chamber Sentry for 2 and then ping down the 2 1/1s, so we're not necessarily under a huge amount of pressure from the big boys there. So I'm not super concerned right now about those. They're also going to be over a couple turns, and we don't attack, so if they don't play a land here, I'm actually really happy. All right, so they didn't play a land. We did get our Cauldron Familiar, so now we can start blocking, and hopefully we'll get some other things online here. So let's go ahead and Fabled Passage, get our other Plains that we may need. So we can do a couple things. We're not going to Mortify yet. We're going to play out Chamber Sentry for 2. Auto pay, Cauldron Familiar. And then what do we do here? Do we play out the Stone Coil Serpent? I don't think we do. I think we're just going to let it go for right now. I don't really see us really necessarily needing to do that. We have the ability to kill. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and let us draw a card. Get a land. We're going to get a swamp. Draw another Tamba Sentry. Poop. Alright, so that's fine. They're going to swing in maybe for 5 here. I don't think we block here. I kind of want to save the Chamber Sentry to mow down the little ones. We'll drop our Swamp. So we can pay a black. We can't kill both. Well, we could kill both things with the Mortify and then a 1/1 counter, but I'd rather not do that. So I think we'll start off by just not doing that yet. So we're going to play this. We want to get this guy out. So we can then go ahead and get out Chamber Sentry for 2. So that allows us to keep alive. Ah, poops. Butts, butts, butts. I forgot about that part. And then I think we just pass. Yeah, that was a butt move there. That was a big butt. Yep, so they can get our other one out. So now what we can do, they're looking a little bit mana screwed as well. So we're going to block with our 1/1 here. And then we will allow it to die. And then we're going to shoot one of these little ladies down. So that next turn they cannot attack. We won't allow them to go to attack. So we can go ahead and Corpse Knight. And then I guess we can play this for 1 and hold up Mortify. Well, I think we don't. I think we hold up both here. So we just go ahead and pass. We're going to hold full control here. Before they go to attack, so we'll shoot down their 1/1. So playing Order of Midnight. That's fine. They want to go to combat. We're not going to let them go to combat. We're going to shoot down their 1/1. Don't need full control anymore. So they can't attack on anything this turn. Do we want to mortify anything? I don't think we need to mortify anything right now. So I think what we will do here is play another Corpse Knight. And play this guy out for 4, because then we have a good blocker. Yeah. So now we have a Reacher. No attacks. So we'd like to see a Witch's Oven, I think, here. That would be fine. Questing Beast, okay. Don't know why they did that. Probably didn't realize that that does that. Alright, so enough lands, people. We don't need lands. We need Witch's Ovens, 0 or X mana spells, maybe a Forever Young. Yep. That might be a better thing to actually kill than the Questing Beast. Oops. Yeah, that was a big deal. I missed on that. Well, it is a 1/1, so we can take 14 and not die. I think we just mortify the 5/5, right? This does have Vigilance, Death has Haste. It doesn't have Trample. So we can just mortify a 5/5 here. The Edge Wall Innkeeper is actually a bigger problem. I kind of forgot it's a 1/1. So if we take... So past the blockers, we'll just block with a Corpse Knight. It's a little bit upsetting, but we'll do it. We don't want to go too low on life. We'll ping. If they pass, we'll just mortify the 1/1, because I'm an idiot and didn't see that prior. So that was definitely a big ol' punt. Big ol' punt. Alright, opponent is thinking. They're in the tank, not the Jank Tank. We're in the Jank Tank right now. Alright, buddy. What you got for us, Fenrix Wolf? Lots of tanking here. Lots of tanking. Tankity tank, tank, tank. Oh, maybe they got a way to get back the Order of Midnight? No. Alright, so we will go ahead, and maybe we don't mortify right now, actually. So we'll go to our turn. We draw another Cruel Celebrant, which is fine. We can still play what we need. Ping for 1, and then we pass, and we hold full control so they can't go to combat. So they're casting the Falmar Knight, unfortunately. Alright, so we should have just pulled... We should have pulled the trigger on the Edgewalling Keeper already. They got their value already, which is a little bit upsetting. So I think we just mortify anyway, so they can stop getting value. So we don't want them to have any more value. So we will go ahead and kill the Edgewalling Keeper, because we have enough punts with that right now. But they'll come in because they have a 1/1. We'll see what they do. Don't need to have control anymore. Oh, well, that's a little poopy. Alright, so we're looking... So they're coming in for a whole bunch of bananas. All the bananas. I think we just got to trade off here. And here, and we take 5? Alright, so Midnight Reaper isn't really what we want right now, because it may end up actually killing us. But we can start, we can block. We kind of have to just commit to the board here. And then pass. So they can attack. They're going to get a bunch. They'll probably return the Questing Beast. They can't, unless they drew a land, they can't play the Questing Beast and the Edge, well, they can if they got a land. So they could potentially attack in for a whole bunch of damage here. So again, the Edgewalling Keeper out. They'll probably order the Midnight back, maybe the Questing Beast. Yep. They can't cast this turn, which is a little bit good, because we're getting close to being able to win. So they're going to play that, which is fine. They get to draw the card. Probably he's going to play a land. Don't attack. Oh, that was terrible. Play the land out. No attacks. Stinky, stinky, bobinky, banana, nfo, finky. We may be dying here. The math is a little bit hard. Oh!
I protect that which cannot protect itself. Rise, my elemental friend.
So they can cast out Rankle Spanker. Rankle Spankle? Alright, so they're getting in for 2. Ooh, yeah, so we are dead next turn. So you're probably going to make us draw and sack a creature, but I don't know here. So they discarded a card. And sacks a creature. Oh, they have to do it first. So sack a creature. Okay, does that do it? That may do it here. So we'll Forever Young. Actually cancel. I think we go ahead and do this. 0. Confirm 0. They go down 2, we go up 1. We draw a Witch's Oven. We play Forever Young. We get back everything. What do we want to trigger first? We want the Midnight Reaper. We have Midnight Reaper in play. We don't want a second one. So we're going to get back 0, 0, 0. Well, not 0, but you know what I mean. What else? What else is here? Free spell, free spell. Submit 7. Let's go ahead and get the Cruel Celebrant first to finish it off faster. Like so. We'll draw a card. We'll play this. Oh, no. Oh, no. We misplayed. We should have gotten something we could kill back. But we can, because we have the Witch's Oven. Oh, no. Did we just lose? Oh, no. Creature's going to die. Yes. Sack this. Draw a card. Oh no, we did lose, didn't we? Oh no, we just have to kill one more creature? Or no, this is it. That's game. Woo! That was close. We almost really messed that up because we really should have put those X spells on top. Woohoo! That was a close one. Alright, but we got there. Very good. Alright. Next game is with Mav, M-A-V. Alright, so we have a start that maybe we do want to push, so maybe we'll play the Plains, play the Witch's Oven, and then see what we draw, and then it'll make us determine what we want to do. We do want to get down the Oven in case we draw a Witch's Familiar, or sorry, Cauldron Familiar. We can just get right to it. So it looks like opponent is playing some kind of green. They have Once Upon a Time, which I really don't understand why you play that at this point of the game. Like, you have the ability to do that after your draw step. I honestly just don't get it. Alright, so we do want to be able to play out something here. So we can, I think we shock in and play Cruel Celebrant and pass. So they'll probably play a 2-drop 2 bump up. Maybe it'll be Zerta. So it's Zerta, yes. You may go ahead and play yourself a Zerti Goblo. Attack in for the 2, because I will not be blocking, even if I play the Corpse Knight. I guess Corpse Knight would have been better to play, because then I'll get other triggers. We will go ahead and play that. We will put that guy in the bottom. We will go ahead and drop our Corpse Knight. I think we'll probably... We may or may not cast that Chamber Sentry for 2. It doesn't look like it's that useful. Right now we can just play it and get 2 triggers, but I think I'd rather play the Midnight Reaper first. So here comes Spellbreaker? Maybe? So this doesn't... These don't target, right? Yeah, no. So that's... Yep. Alright, so the only problem with that creature, it does have Trample. That's the only thing we don't like about that. So we're going to take 6 here. No blocks. Pass damage. Alright, so we need to draw... Another Witch's Oven doesn't actually help us here. Maybe a Reaper does. We can trade with something. Maybe we just go like this. Get a couple triggers. Draw a card. Get a temple to scry with. Chamber Sentry. Preferably rather have a Cauldron Familiar, but that'll do to go in the bottom. Alright, so we have a pretty good amount of damage coming away. They probably have a Questing Beast to top their curve off, and that's going to really hurt us. I don't know. That would probably be game. We'd have to start doing some bad blocks. We'll see what they do. Don't know if this deck... It does play that. I don't think they have Embercleave. They don't have Embercleave mana up anyways. So that's that. We do have to watch out for the Collision Colossus, because that could just take us out of nowhere. Do they have Lava Coil here? Looks like some sort of targeted removal. I don't know. Think about what blockers to take out. So Cruel Celebrant probably would be the most efficient, because I don't get to draw the card from Midnight Reaper, and then I just lose life when things die. So that's probably the best bet. That might actually be lethal. Well, it's not lethal because I can still block some things, but it's definitely the better play. Yeah, so it is Thrash Threat. So this is target... Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to sack that to the Witch's Oven because we can. Another Cruel Celebrant. Not bad. So take 7 here. We can kill the Pelt Collector. Oh, sorry. Take 7. Go to 3. If not, we're going to get Collision Colossus for the win. I should say for the loss. Yeah, so that's... Is that game? That's game. Okay, well, that was a quick 5-minute game. All right, well, that's loss number 2. All right, here is a game with Stephanie. All right, not loving the Forever Youngs in the opening hand. I think we will probably just mulligan this bad Larry because we don't want to start with that. This is a much better way to start the game. I think we keep and we throw Mortify back maybe because we want to have our lands. So yeah, let's go ahead and put out Witch's Oven first. And then next turn we can start the Cauldron Familiar. Depending on our land draw, we may play the cool Celebrant. He's cool Celebrant. Alright, Stephanie. What you got for us, Stephanie? Just passing the turn. So we will go ahead and go get ourselves a Plains. Then we unlock the Castle Ardenvale as a real land next turn. Play Familiar and pass late turn. Opponent's thinking. Boy, are they thinking. Thinking real hard about that ping, or that drain life. Alright, so next turn, probably want a Gruul Celebrant. I think we'll just go ahead and set an opponent stop now on the end step. Alright, Stephanie. Black, what you got for us, lady? Or not lady? Thinking about your turn. Vampires? Okay. I can dig it. Go ahead and start our little wombo combo. Resolve. Get this guy back. Sack the food. Resolves. Resolve. My turn. My turn. My turn. Talking about my turn. Alright, I think we just Celebrant. And I guess we could Stone Coil for 1 here just to have a blocker. Yeah. Not the best. Alright, so maybe they're just mono black vampires. I didn't think that was something. Or there's just, maybe this is a beginner. It's an odd card to play. Alright, so they're most likely vampires here. I wonder if there's a reason for that. What do you got for us, Mr. or Mrs. Stephanie? Alright, so the Legion Den would be bad, so they're going to disfigure that. Do I care? No, I don't. I guess I don't care. They still get the ping. And if they want to attack, they can attack. I can still block and then sack, so that's fine with me. I guess the idea, yeah, so they're gonna still, we'll just start it up. Go for broke. Get that pumping. Ping, bang, pong. Another Witch's Oven and another Familiar. Excellent. Pass the turn. And now we're in even better shape. So another Cruel Celebrant or a Corpse Knight would be a great draw for next turn. They're not exerting very much pressure. The Knight of the Ebon Legion won't be dealing any damage to get pings. They're unlikely to get the Opportunist online anytime soon, so I think we may have this pretty locked up. We're going to be draining for 4 each turn. So that's pretty hot. So they're going to dump some life linkers, which don't really matter as much because of the whole block and sack with the oven. The lifelink itself does matter, but Yeah. Past the blockers. Blockety, blockety. Witchy's oven to witchy's oven. Double the fresh mint, double the fun with double mint gum. Well, I guess I could have waited until the end step, but it didn't really matter. They had no mana, so... Oh, is it if... Oh, it's if a player. They could even do it themselves. I didn't realize that. That's funny. Alright. So we can't just kill them just yet, but we can stave off their life gain. Oh, they're gonna murder it. Well, that's not very cool. Yeah, okay. Murder. We're at 32, so we don't really care about damage at this point. So we'll block the life linkers and then sack before damage. Actually, I think we leave another cat alive. I don't think it really matters. We have other creatures that we can block, and that'll just get that thing out of the way. So block. Yes. Sack. Yes. Sack. Get food back. Or get our kitty back, I mean, not get our food back. Alright, so that doesn't help us at all. And we can't even get a thing. So I think we're just on the plan of we will win on sheer advantage if they don't have a lot more lifelink. So they can pump the knight, not really worry about it. That's not as much of a problem either. That's more of a problem because that's a flyer. So that's a little bit of an iffy thing, but they're not going to be gaining all that much life because we can just block and stuff. So yeah, not really worry about that, dude. So we'll pass the blockers, block the life linkers, sack them. Take 2. Get back 2 of the familiars. Alright, so if we draw like a Gruul... Okay, Forever Young will do it. Yes, a Forever Young will do it. So we will go ahead and Forever Young back just the Gruul Celebrant. Submit 1. Get the Gruul Celebrant back. And that should be game here. Because now we can just sack, and then that's game. So we will go ahead and do that now. Just so we don't have any shenanigans with them being able to draw something that will kill our thing. And they saw it. Alright, so that was good. Alright, match against Lynn DDD. Lynn Triple D. We go first with a pretty crummy hand. But we have a Cauldron Familiar, we got some Chamber Sentries, so we do have no combo pieces, but we have some things that can maybe soak up early damage. We'll start off with the Templar of Silence. Yeah, I think we keep that, because we have some things that we can actually get online here. And get some early things in with, if we feel like it. Alright, what is our opponent on? They're on Golgari Adventures, maybe, which is maybe a winnable match for us. We will see. So maybe it would have been better to... Well, no, I think ideally what we'd like to see maybe next is a Cauldron Familiars... sorry, a Witch's Oven. That maybe gets us going with the triggers. The Fabled Passage is a painful... Well, it doesn't kill... But they see our hand, they probably don't make much sense of it. A Godless Shrine can enter tapped. And then we can get Fabled Passage to work as we want it to. And then I think what we'll do is probably just put this Bad Larry out for 1. Love Struck Be Still. Alright, so Crack, or playing Crack for Swamp. I don't have any multicolored cards right now. Questing Beast could be coming next turn. Maybe we go ahead and just start loading the table up. So we'll go with 2 here. Like that. 1 here, like that. And then we pass. We will hold full control here. So they can't go pre-combat. I will kill the edge wall as they go into combat. Alright, so they're going to create a thing anyways. So, I think we just kill as... They'll be able to attack, but it is what it is. I guess we actually, that was a misplay, yeah. We should not have done that pre-combat, because we knew they were going to have a 1-1. They would have been able to attack, so we could have blocked and then shot. Yeah, that doesn't matter as much, but we can Ugin's Conjurant block, and that's essentially nothing here. It just dies. But, alright, so this does help us a little bit. Hold full control. We do want to ping down that critter. That can resolve. We'll draw a card. That resolves. Yep, draw a card. Corpse Knight. Don't need full control anymore. Now they can't attack with their brutes. That's not too bad. So we'll play this out. Could play a 5/5 Serpent, or we could start trying to get a little bit more creative here. I think we need some beefy boys, so I think we'll go ahead and just play it for 3. Pass. I guess it would have been smarter to save up 1 mana for the Chamber Sentry. Yeah, that was silly. Okay, well, the Questing Beast doesn't really matter. It's not trampoly, so... We just take it here. I don't really care. No blocks. Pass the damage. Alright, we need some draws that are hot and live. Godless Shrine ain't gonna do it. Enters tapped, pass the turn. Alright, so we want to go ahead and hold full control. Yep, I guess I don't know why that didn't give me a chance to respond to that entering, but we didn't. Don't need full control anymore. Pass the combat, take 4. No block. Down to 11. Let's get something good. Cauldron Familiar ain't very good. Play the Cauldron Familiar. Pass. Alright, Witch's Oven. That'd be good. Another Stone Coil Serpent. Oh boy. That just makes things so much worse for us, doesn't it? Because now everything comes in with a counter. Everything is essentially free. They can attack with everything now. They draw a card. Ugh, yuck. Okay. So 19 damage. We can block the 2 Love-Struck Beasts. With the Familiars, which is I think what I will do. I hope we are not so live to top decks now. Although actually they can't because the OH Wall and keep it to 2-2. Ha! That's funny to me. I didn't even realize that. Oh, Forever Young does help us a little bit. All right, so we can get back. We want to draw a card, but we can't draw a card. Alright, so I want this guy on first, and then it doesn't really matter. I guess that's the better way to do it. Alright, so if we attack with a Cauldron Familiar, they'll probably just take it. So they need to have another... Yeah, so I think we just don't attack. Because next turn we will play, and then we can just string through them. So we have to survive the turn here. Unless they just kill the Reaper, then we just lose that stringing ability. So they may have another Murderous Rider. I don't think we block here. No blocks. We'll gain a little bit of life. Actually, we won't gain anything. We just lose, actually. I forgot about that. Alright, so... That's actually kind of okay now. We don't get to draw the cards, but... Yeah, so I don't think we're going to win this, because they'll play that out. That's still going to come in. The 2-2. They didn't attack with the Beast. So we are a little bit screwed there. I don't think we can really make this work, but if that was a Corpse Knight was an even Steven thing, it would be a little bit better. But I think we're just getting majorly outpaced here. Well, that's game. Alright, well, that didn't go as planned. We definitely got outed by that fine finality. But, alright, that was okay. Alright, thank you for watching this episode of Jank Tank. I think this deck, the Orzhov Rejankimator, was actually pretty good. We went 3-3 in a standard event. Didn't get the, 7 wins as you could necessarily, but it was also a lot of fun. We went up against a couple matches with the Golgari Adventures. That is a tier 2 to tier 1 deck at this point. If Oko gets banned, it may be a little bit better. So that's actually pretty good for a deck that is kind of really limited. A lot of what we did, unfortunately, was just the Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven loop, which in its own right, again, is a deck you can play. We did power out some of the extra push of damage with the Cruel Celebrant and the Corpse Knight. A couple of the games were like on point, exactly what this deck wants to do. Others were just sort of the Cauldron Familiar loop and that sort of thing. We almost misplayed to the point of losing. We may have actually won that other Golgari Adventures if we hadn't made so many mistakes, but all in all, not bad. Definitely, I would say this gets I'd say an A- to a B+ as far as a performing janky deck. I would definitely suggest playing it. We could definitely optimize the mana base. I did not spend the wild cards that I probably should have. I don't know if I really like Fabled Passages in this deck. That said, I have a 2/4 Godless Shrine to Temple of Silence split. Again, purely because I didn't want to spend the wild cards on the Godless Shrines right now. I don't have a lot. I'm trying to keep those for other things, maybe for other videos, that sort of thing. So having a better split in there, maybe 4 Godless Shrines and 2 Temples. The life gain, you don't really need to worry about the life loss from the Godless Shrine. So shocking it isn't a big deal. The Castle Ardenvale was fine. There was a couple times where it almost hurt us as far as what our draw was and how we could play our lands out, but I actually think it worked out really well. The deck's fun to play. It's not super tricky. The only thing that was a little tricky was my bad on the Forever Youngs and Midnight Reapers and getting things back from that. So otherwise, I did find that we had a lot more X spells that we didn't cast for 0, but that's also because we just didn't necessarily get the cards we wanted. I think a Castle Lochthwain would actually be really good. Maybe a couple of them would be really good in this deck to, on the end of turn, snag a card out of the library, gets you closer to a Witch's Oven you need, maybe a Forever Young, maybe if you don't have the Corpse Knight, the Cruel Silvernaut, it'll get you there. So I think it's actually a pretty fun deck. We played against some okay decks. We played against some pretty janky decks, or just not optimally built decks. But overall, I think it was really fun. I suggest you check it out. And that's all for this episode of the Jank Tank. Thank you very much. This is Tap signing out. Cheers.